We're live. How are you doing today, Bri?
I'm great, David. How are you?
I'm doing good.
Good.
I believe we had to reschedule, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it was a while ago.
Yeah, had a lot going on, so I tried to schedule far enough out that I could make sure I was ready this time.
I know there's been a couple people I've reached out to, and I'm like, come on, sign up for the podcast. And they're like, I don't want to have to cancel on you, so I'll just wait till I'm available. And I'm like, okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
I respect that because I typically don't like. I don't remember. Did I cancel on you? I might have
I feel
canceled
like it
on you.
might have been a mutual one
Okay.
time.
Yeah, it might have been. There's been a couple recently where I've like had to cancel and reschedule, and I'm like, I don't like doing that.
Yeah, but it happens.
It happens.
Understandable.
Yeah, especially when you do them so often. It's like for me, I try to do them like Monday, or I'm not Monday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and that's typically when like families get together, and sometimes you just have to.
Yes.
So, anyways, less about me, more about you.
So my name is Brianna. I am 27.
You from Lansing?
Yep, I'm from Lansing, born and raised on the south side.
Oh,
Yeah, so I went to a couple different high schools. I went to college. I got my degree.
what did you study in college?
Oh, just general, but a lot of psychology classes. I love psychology. So,
What about psychology do you love?
just to understand how the brain works. I wanna help people. Like that's my main goal in life is to help people. So if I can understand why people are doing things or understand how to talk to somebody to direct them in a certain way, those are the kind of things that I want to be able to do.
That's awesome. I feel like a lot of people have a longing to understand why certain people do certain things. And I think it's one of those things for me, like because I used to want to I used to want to be a social worker, but realizing that you can't necessarily change people,
Yeah.
or like you want to help them so bad, but sometimes they don't want to help themselves. And for me, it's like I take that personally. Like, come on, man! Like I'm trying to help you.
Yeah.
I think for me, like to work in a field like that, it would be like just tiresome.
It is. Yeah, you definitely have to put up boundaries and know where to end and have your own personal life and learn how to not take things personal.
Yeah. How do you do that though when you have a job that like, I mean, because like let's say you're working in foster care, you're like a social worker. Like, how do you not take that personal? Like, how do you not take that home?
I mean, unfortunately, I think sometimes people do. And for me, like when I'm trying to help somebody and I have to pray about things a lot or just learn to prioritize like what you have to focus on. And, we're stewardships over our family first. So we have to make sure that that's taken care of first. And then just have to prioritize and categorize whatever energy you have left can be for those people. But and don't let somebody drain you. If you try to help somebody and it doesn't work, you just can't let it bother you because everybody is their own person. So
Yeah. That's one thing. Like for me, I feel like I tried to put a lot of myself into people to help them out, to like make them a better person. And it's one of those things like it's almost like you're creating like a false sense of reality for that person, because like what I want them to be or want them to do is different than what they want for themselves.
yeah.
It's like, I have a friend who is really overweight, and him and I were working out together for the longest time, and he lost a lot of weight. He was doing great. But then like our schedules changed and like life happened, and he just kind of fell back into his old ways. And then now he's almost worse off than he was before. And it's like, when I see that, I'm like, oh man, like,
Yeah.
it takes a toll on me as a person. Cause I'm like, I know I got him to a certain point, and then, or he got himself to that point. I just helped. But then seeing him kind of fall back is like, man, that hurts.
Yeah, I understand. I think I see that with like relationships a lot when like a woman wants help with a relationship and then
wants advice.
Yeah.
Should I leave my man?
Yeah. Or they want like assistance in leaving. So then you try to help them and then they just go back, and it's like, I don't know. So yeah, you have to just preserve your energy a lot of times.
Yeah, definitely. But you still have to be available for those people too, because like, you never know like if they really need to get out.
Yes. Yeah.
So Do you work do you work as like a therapist? What kind of work do you do?
No, right now I am I have a cleaning business. So
Okay.
I've had that for over 3 years
What's the
now.
name of it?
Care to Clean Services.
Okay.
Yep. So I specialize in organizing and decluttering. And I also clean while I'm at it. Um, but it does help people because I'm helping give them like a clean space to think in, to live in.
Yeah.
So people are really grateful. Is it what my dream was to do? No. But some decisions that I made, it led me to not be able to get like a wonderful job at the moment. And so I had to compromise, and this is where I'm at now. And I'm so grateful for the business. I'm so grateful for all my clients. And I never saw myself owning a business. So sometimes, like, things that we go through can, it can be a blessing in disguise.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, and that's the whole idea of not letting your circumstances kind of define the situation you were given, because
yeah.
like it's so easy to just fall victim to like, okay, I was given these bad situations in life and that's all I'm going to be.
Yeah.
Whereas like you can dig yourself up and make the best of that situation.
Yeah.
You can use that as motivation and as fuel to better your life.
Exactly. I always use the analogy about like playing cards. Like you were dealt certain cards in life. But nobody knows what you have in your hands. So if you play those cards at the right time and get rid of them, you can still win. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So you said you started the business 3 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So has it taken off?
Yeah.
Are you busier than you've ever imagined?
I'm very busy. I have a few really loyal clients who I work with every week, and then also I have new clients that are like one-time cleans here and there. So I'm very consistent. I tried to get employees, but I kind of gave up on that. I like to know that the work is getting done right and know I'm not training somebody who doesn't really want to work. So
Right.
that happened a couple times. But
That's the difficult part about owning a business, because like you're super passionate about what you're doing and you want to make the best for your name as possible, but other people don't see it that way.
yeah,
It's just a job to them, and they can go home at the end of the day and
exactly.
they don't have any ties to it.
Yeah, and they just want, I think, the money, and then once they have it, they're like, okay,
I'm good.
don't want to do that again. It is hard work. Cleaning is hard work. Actually, it's a whole workout. So
Yeah, I could imagine. I mean, I'm sure at like certain points you're on your hands and knees and you're
Oh, yeah.
scrubbing, and it can't be easy.
Yeah, it's pretty strenuous.
I think I would hate to do that though. Like going into other people's houses and
Yeah, it's you have to put yourself in a mindset. Like you have to have the vision at the end, because a lot of people they can't clean their own house because they're so overwhelmed with everything. So I have to go in with a clean slate in my mind of what the house should look like and just get it there. And I think the most
can I move
rewarding
that
thing,
microphone? It's like right in your face. I could barely.
like this.
Yeah, that's good.
Oh, okay, sorry.
You don't have to. You don't have to turn. Let me hold on. Let me adjust that because yeah, I was like looking at the microphone. I couldn't see your
Okay.
face.
Yeah, yeah, that's perfect.
Okay, cool. There, now I can see your face.
Awesome.
We're good. Okay. So you go into these houses and you just kind of have like a image in your head, like, okay, this is what I want it to look like. This is what we got to get rid of.
Yeah, I think people don't understand that everything in your house should have a place. Like if it doesn't have a place, they're like, oh, there's no place for that. Well, then maybe it shouldn't be in your house if it doesn't have a place.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, I don't know if our house is cluttered. You've probably seen our basement.
Not bad.
No, I don't think it's too bad. My wife is pretty crazy about getting rid of stuff. So
that's good.
yeah, we're constantly getting rid of things and donating things because like we don't use it, might as well get rid of it.
Yeah, and you're probably constantly getting new things too. So
yeah,
you got to make room for those things.
Especially kid toys.
Yes, I know the feeling.
Do you have kids?
2 kids.
Ah, how old are they?
I have a 9-year-old and a 3-year-old.
Oof. Got your hands full.
Yes, I love them. They're amazing.
That's cool. Do they go to Lansing schools?
Yeah. My son doesn't go to school yet, so he just goes
he's
to
3,
a babysitter.
right?
But my daughter does go to a charter school. So.
What is that dynamic like with owning your own business and trying to raise kids?
Oh, it's hard. The fathers are not involved, so it's just me. I am grateful though because my clients are very understanding. So being a single mother, if one of my kids are sick, and then if one kid is sick, then the other one gets sick, then I might get sick. So it
Yeah.
can be like a whole month ordeal.
Yeah.
Just one person getting sick, but
This episode is brought to you by Red Bike Delivery. This delivery service operates only using battery-powered, eco-friendly transportation. Red Bike Delivery is there for all your delivery needs, whether it's dinner for the family, flowers for your partner, or new houseplants for your new collection. Red Bike Delivery will gladly deliver those and everything in between. So what are you waiting for? Check out Red Bike Delivery on Facebook or Instagram for more information. Red Bike Delivery, because there's only one Earth.
I think it's convenient. I can go pick up my kids when I need to, and I can still work and make a living. So
That's important.
yeah.
That's one thing, like, as I get older and like my kids are kind of getting older and they're in school and they're involved in things, it's like I'm starting to realize the importance of being able to like just go and be involved in their life, like be able to pick them up from school whenever you need to pick them up or drop them off.
Yeah. It's a huge deal.
Because I work at GM and it's like you're tied to the line. I work on an assembly line. So I don't get to just leave whenever I want. I can't unless I want to take like a vacation day or like use a call-in day or something. Like it's almost impossible to do those things. I can't drop them off or pick them up because I'm at work.
Yeah.
And so being able to have that ability to go pick up your kids whenever you need or drop them off or be like go to field trips and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's important.
It's a blessing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was it like during COVID? I mean, because I would imagine that that's probably right around the time you started your business. Maybe you're a year in at that point.
Yeah, I was about a year in. It was stressful. I had to keep canceling on my clients because daycares kept getting shut down, and had to try to figure out how my daughter would do homeschool when I was supposed to be working. But it all worked out. The hardest part was the daycare situation.
Yeah.
So I was in and out of dark places mentally because I wanted to work. I have a strong drive to work. So the fact that I couldn't be there all the time for my clients when they needed me to be, that was pretty hard.
Yeah. Yeah, I could imagine. And then having to go into other people's houses like during COVID.
Yeah. I used a lot of sanitizer. Yeah.
Yeah, that I don't think I would want to do that.
Yeah.
Now previously you had said that you were in some dark times and that you couldn't pursue the job of your dreams because of some trouble or something you were in. What was that? Do you mind talking about that?
Yeah, of course. Growing up, I didn't really have like the same direction that a lot of people had. I was just kind of like
parental guidance.
Yeah, I was just with my brother every day while my parents worked. So we were just doing whatever. So I was kind of misguided in a way, and I did things. I sold drugs. I don't know. I started smoking weed at a young age. So the first time I ever got in trouble with the law, it was for marijuana. And then it progressed to I had a felony for selling drugs.
What was the worst thing you ever sold?
Crack.
Wow.
Yeah, that's what my felony is for.
Oh, okay.
But
how old were you?
I'm 27.
No, when you got that.
Oh, when I got that, I was 21, I believe.
Wow.
Yeah, so I was actually on 2 probations at the same time.
Oh my
one
gosh.
for the weed and one for selling, and then of course because drugs were involved. I never did drugs, but my kids, I had a CPS case for them because they wanted to investigate, make sure the kids, my daughter, they wanted to make sure she was okay, which she was. Actually, when I got dismissed, the judge told me like I did a lot better than a lot of people older than me. So I've always been a really good mother. I just thought I had to provide in these ways because I didn't know that there was a better way for me. So I tried. I've applied to many jobs because I do have an associate's degree. So I've applied to many jobs that I would qualify for, and they interview me and I get the job. But then once my background check comes back, they tell me, "Oh, we're sorry, you can't work here." So it's been discouraging, very discouraging.
What kind of jobs were you applying for?
Well,
Let's just put them on blast right now.
there was a job where I was like orchestrating fundraisers for nonprofits. There was jobs. Oh my gosh, I even applied to the gas station one time because I was so desperate to get a job, and they denied me. I was like, sheesh, if I can't work at the gas station, where can I work?
Wow,
So
that is insane.
yeah, I got a few factory jobs, but it's such hard work, and it's not enough pay when you have kids to be stuck in the factory all day. So that's how I decided. I actually had a vision of a cleaning business, and then I actually got prophesized over, and they told me just to go ahead and step out and start it. So I didn't have everything that I thought I needed to start the business, but with what I did have, I just started it, and it just flourished. So I knew it was, a good thing.
You kind of knew that it was meant to be at that point.
Yeah.
That is insane that in today's day and age that you can't get a job for a weed charge.
Yeah.
Like weed is legal now.
Yeah. And
like, is there at any point will they like expunge that from your record?
yeah, so actually, I was supposed to get. Well, I'm not sure if it's the weed charge as much as the other charge, which is the felony. The weed was a misdemeanor, so I don't know if that's as big. I've always pretty much had both charges, so I don't know which one was harming me the most. But
I would assume the felony.
yeah, they actually just passed a law where we can get our felonies expunged. So I have a court date next month to get my felony expunged. After it's been over 5 years of being a felon.
Yeah.
I can be free from that, not have that title anymore. So
there's that is super incredible that they are allowing that, because I don't know if there's ever really been a time where you could just get that off your record, right?
Yeah, it's been hard for people.
Like, and that's the thing too. Like, why should you always have this title above you, like hanging above your head, like
Right.
that's going to affect you for the rest of your life when you made a choice at 21 years old to sell something to try to make a living, and yeah, you messed up.
Yeah.
But you learned from it and you were able to succeed after that. Like,
yeah.
I mean, I know a lot of people kind of fall back into that same kind of lifestyle, but it's because they have that charge. They're not able to get a decent job. They're not able to provide for themselves. So they fall back into the things that they know how to do.
Yeah.
And, but I think if people had an opportunity to kind of redeem themselves and better their life and get a decent job, make a decent living, they might not fall back into those lifestyles.
I agree completely, David. I feel like it's a setup.
I mean, of course it is. They want you to fail because they keep making more money
off the prison and the jails. Definitely, it's a huge business. It's a booming business.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you got the privatized prisons and
then rehab and probation fees and all these things you have to pay for. So.
The probation one's an interesting one to me because you have to go drop every week or even sometimes more, right? Like twice a week, and you have to pay every time you do it.
Yeah.
And then you got to pay pay so much money. So much money.
Yeah, and then you can't get a job. So
you're
ordered to pay all this money so you don't go back to jail, and you can't get a job.
To help pay for it.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
It is kind of crazy. And it's crazy, too, because, like, sometimes you'll have to drop when you,
are supposed to work or something.
When you're supposed to work, but then, like, if you've never even, like, if you're not even doing drugs or if you have, like, some sort of, like, a substance abuse problem, you still have to drop.
Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah.
It's a way to make money.
Definitely.
Yeah. So did you ever spend time in jail for any of that?
Yeah, I did just over a month one time, and I did a lot of weekends.
That would suck.
It did. It was so weird, like just driving up to the jail on my weekends, like, oh, gotta go in here. And then they'd be like, hey. And I'd be like, hey. And then they would let me out after 2 days, and I'll be like, see you next weekend.
That's got to be a weird feeling, going to jail on the weekend, like knowing you're just going to be free on Monday.
Yeah, I would take a lot of Advil PM so that I could just sleep.
Was it like an Ingham County jail?
No, that one where I was doing the weekends, that was Eaton County. So
okay.
It's a little cleaner than Ingham County.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I hear. I hear Ingham County's not so nice.
No, it was nasty. I've been there too, but shorter. Only one day I was there.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay. I've never been arrested.
That's good.
Yeah.
Keep it that way.
Yeah. Right. Hopefully I can keep it that way.
Yeah.
I don't ever want to be arrested. I think I would cry.
Yeah. I feel like discipline is like a huge thing. I feel like I didn't have discipline growing up, so I had to learn the hard way.
Yeah.
To respect authority.
Right.
So.
When you see, I like that you said that you didn't have discipline, because one of the things that's happening today is that there's like a pushback against police and respecting authority.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't respect the police. Like I just had a conversation with a coworker of mine. He's an African American, and we were talking, and he was like, "Man, F the police. Like I don't like the police."
Yeah.
And so I was like, "Why don't you like the police?" And he's like, "Well, somebody broke into my car and they didn't do anything about it." And I'm like, "Okay, I understand that, but not every police officer is a bad police officer."
Yeah.
Like, and people hate saying this, or they hate it when people say this. Like, there's bad apples in every group of people, which is true though. Like, and working at GM, like there's bad employees.
Yeah.
There's people who don't care about their job. They will purposely mess up a car because they don't care, and they'll just walk away from it. And it's the same thing with police officers, but on more of an extreme level, because they're dealing with other people's lives. And then they may show up to an incident where, like a kid's been in a car accident and his head's lobbed off, or like, like when you see those kind of things, it destroys who you are as a person psychologically and emotionally. And so when you see that like on a consistent basis, it kind of numbs you. So not that that's a justification at all for anything that the police do.
Yeah.
But I just think that like we need more resources to help them.
Definitely. I think they need more counseling and things like that.
Yeah.
I've had some bad experiences with police also. So I know there's good cops, good police, but I also had a lot of bad experiences.
I think when you get involved in, like, so I have friends that are police officers.
Yeah.
They were Eaton County police officers, and one's like a Mexican guy, and he's a good friend of mine. I know he was a good cop. He cared about everybody he worked with. I've actually, he's retired now, so I can talk about it. But there was an incident where when I moved out, I was living with my buddy, and his brother-in-law picked me up from work in Charlotte and was taking me back to Bellevue. Well, the speedometer on the car wasn't working. And so this was like back when like smartphones like started to become a big thing. And so he downloaded this app. It was a speedometer app. And he's like checking it out, seeing how it works. And we're going down this country road, and he just steps on it and he starts flying. I think we get up to like 105 or something. And we blow by an Eaton County cop.
Oh no.
And he tries outrunning the cop. And so the cop starts chasing us. We turn down a dirt road. You can feel the car like
oh my gosh,
shaking back and forth. And I'm like, dude, you need to stop. Let me out. And I remember because like at that time before then, I was in a program called Explorers, and it was to learn how to become a police officer because I wanted to be a police officer.
Yeah.
But it was like for college, like young college people and high schoolers it was like a program. And so I knew like what kind of resources Eaton County had, because I did it through Eaton County. I'm like, they can call in choppers. They have other people that will come. Like they will surround us. Like you will not outrun them. So finally he stopped, and the cop got out, pulled his gun, and told him to walk backwards, told the passenger to get out, which was me, and to walk backwards. I walked back to the cop car, turn around, and it's my friend. I knew him growing up. He was my neighbor. Or not my neighbor, but he like stayed with my neighbor sometimes. And so I knew him, and he's like, David? I'm like, hey, how's it going? And he called off backup. He already called in backup, but he called it off. And I told him about, what happened, and he let the guy go. He let him go. Yeah. And without a charge, without a ticket, nothing. But he told him, he's like, if you killed my friend, he's like, I would have been very angry. He's like, you would not be letting go. I would not be letting you go right now. He's like, so you can thank him all the way home. And so he let him go. So like I know that there's like good cops out there. However, there's a lot of bad situations too, terrible situations. Yeah. So when you see something like that, and you see like the uprising and being on the other side of law enforcement, like what do you think about that?
I think It's hard to say. I actually over the years have met police officers outside of uniform, and they're really good people, and they're like normal people, and I'm like, wow, like I didn't know that a police officer, because I've been on the other side and never experienced them in that situation. I didn't know that they were, normal people like that. But I mean, one time, like, I called the police when these girls were trying to jump me, and the police came, was not concerned about why I called the police, but she asked if I was still selling drugs. Wow. And I said, that has nothing to do with this. And I just told her to leave. So I don't know if some police think they're funny or something. I don't know.
I think it's like I mean, when you get somebody who's in a position of power, like to control a situation, like when you call the police, like, hey, I need your help, and then they show up, they just kind of like, it's almost like for one, they have to establish that authority, that authority, like, point of view, like, I'm here, I'm in control of the situation. I get that, but then they almost come off as like like everybody else is less than. Yeah. Like they're above them.
Yeah, I agree. I think there's cops that are like that. I've also met some cops that don't do that. So I like when, you don't have to really, I get establishing the authority, but we already know you're an authority. You're dressed as an officer. So if you come as a human being to me to handle a situation, I think that goes over a lot better than if you come acting high and mighty. Right. That doesn't go over as well.
That's one thing that I respected the shit out of the Flint sheriff, who he told everybody during the George Floyd riots or protests. He was like, we're not here to destroy anything. We're here walking with you. And he put down his shield and everything. Like, that was like a moment.
Yeah, that was powerful.
That was super powerful. And then they didn't have any, I don't think they had any like destruction or anything. Right. Like, people like got behind that.
Yeah, if we all work towards the greater cause, I think things will go a lot better.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, there's bad people everywhere. It sucks.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So if you could work in the field that you want to work in, what would you do?
I like to speak. I like to give people guidance, but
like therapy?
Yeah, I would love to I haven't gone to school quite for therapy yet. Okay. I did start like the social work program, but I did get overwhelmed with that when I was going to school for that, because like you said before. Right. But I actually was going to school to be a minister. So before COVID started, that's what I was doing, getting my bachelor's in applied ministry, because I don't necessarily...
Does me swearing offend you?
No, I'm sorry. I swear too. Okay. We're human. We're human beings. Like, no, I'm cool. Trust me. But
I just don't like to offend anybody. So.
No, you're fine. So yeah, I was doing that. I just want to speak. I just want to share how good, my God is that I know. And I want to help people, even if it's not about God, even if it's about making better decisions. And if I can help change one person's life, like, that's all I want to do.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think when somebody like you has gone through the things that you've gone through, and they hear your story, and they hear like how you were able to turn your life around, and then they hear that like how you were able to start a business and how you were able to become a good mom. I mean, you were a good mom before, but like
a better
mom by providing a stable, like reliable living environment for them. You're not having them around crack or drugs or the wrong crowd. People hear that and they're like, okay, she did it, I can do it. And now were you religious before then too?
I grew up in church, but I didn't really start my walk with God until about 3.5 years ago. Okay. Where I actually got like my personal relationship with God. So
what made you start going to church and getting more involved?
Well, I thought I was doing really good in life. So I thought I was good. I had got off of all my probations, but then a situation where I was around the wrong person, and I thought they were my friend, and they crossed me in a way that I ended up making a bad decision, and I ended up in some more legal trouble. It was all false, but I just had to look at my life and think, okay, I thought I was doing good, but obviously I need to still do something differently. So I started going to church. I hadn't been to church in a long time. And the new church that I started to attend, it was just completely different. I felt like the spirit. I never felt that before. So I just knew like this was a journey that I had to pursue. I couldn't ignore it. So.
And since you started going to church and getting more involved and becoming, or I guess like strengthening your walk with God, have you noticed a difference in like the people that surround you and then the way you like handle situations and just the quality of life around you?
Oh, definitely. As I was like transitioning, a lot of people will look at you. They looked at me differently, and they might talk about me or like, oh, you're in the church. You going to church? You da 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 da. Like I couldn't really go to a party anymore or anything without somebody looking at me crazy. But those same people now will actually come to me if they're in need of prayer or if they're in need of advice or how did I get this way? So people are coming to me now, seeing like my transformation now that I'm actually on the other side, and they respect that a lot. So.
Yeah, I think there's something to be said for somebody who, I mean, like I had mentioned before, who turned their life around and like, I mean, because you could have very easily just let your circumstances define who you are and then end up worse.
Yeah.
You could still be in jail or you could be on the streets and lose your kids to foster care. I mean, there's so many like contributing factors that could cause anybody's life to go that way.
Yeah.
But you chose to better it.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Thank you.
Has any of your kids seen your life change like that?
Oh yeah, my daughter, she has been with me. Like she was in the trap house with me when she was young. So, I mean, everybody around me, like they loved her. Like they would always give her money and give her candy and stuff.
Wow.
So she didn't really feel at that young age what was actually happening, but she can definitely see a difference. And she prays, she worships God. She doesn't like regular music. Like she likes godly music. So yeah, I think I've definitely influenced her in the right way. And I'm very happy for that because we've been through a lot together.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
Yeah, she was home when my house got raided. So they had, all the police with their assault rifles. And so she's been through a lot with me.
Oh my gosh. That is crazy.
Yeah.
That would be scary.
It was.
So did you get arrested that day?
Yeah.
So were you worried about like what would happen to your daughter?
My mom came and got her immediately. So
you weren't too worried about
yeah, my mom has been an amazing support system.
That's awesome.
Through it all. When they thought that they were gonna take my daughter away, she got her house looked at, like checked out to make sure she could go there and everything. So my mom has always been a awesome support, but thank God, like I never had to give my daughter away. She was able to stay with me the whole time. So
that's amazing.
Yeah,
that's amazing. I've never been in a situation like that, but like as an adult, I was in foster care when I was a kid, and I was adopted. So we were actually taken away from my mom when I was 9, and for me that was like one of like. It was like a defining moment in my life. Like, I mean, because you're literally at the lowest point in your life. Like you are essentially an orphan.
Yeah.
And you feel like nobody wants you. But that's amazing that your mom was able to step up because we didn't have family that stepped up.
Wow.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, it's right. It's the
built character.
Yeah, it builds character.
Yeah.
Not that it was great that it happened, but it created who I am today, and I probably wouldn't be doing this podcast if it wasn't for it.
Awesome.
Yeah. So, so I think it'll probably strengthen your daughter.
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah.
I think that's why she's so into God. Like she's not like other kids nowadays. I don't know how to explain it, but
please explain it. Try explaining it. I want to know.
Like the things that her friends will talk about, like when they're playing like the neighbor kids and stuff. Like she doesn't talk about that. She doesn't want it like drama and boys and just all the trends that are going on. Like she doesn't get into it. And I mean, I know she like sees things and is exposed to things as any child is going to be in today's age.
Yeah.
But she chooses to look more towards God. And, you know, like I said, the music that she wants to listen to, if I try to put on like hip hop or rap or something that's not like worship, she wants me to change it to worship. So
That's
yeah,
awesome.
she's an angel.
That's awesome. That's one thing. Like, I have a friend who's pretty religious. He's a coworker, and we talk all the time about different things going on in the world. Because I believe that today's day and age is just crazy. The things that's going on, it's like, what is happening in society? Like, what's happening to
Yeah.
young people, the things that they're doing, the things that they're saying, and what, it's crazy. Just everything's wild.
Yeah.
So we have these conversations, and so like I'll ask him, like, for instance, the other day was the whole abortion thing. Like, I know he's religious, so I'm like, hey man, how do you feel about this whole? You're probably happy, and just joking, And he's like, hey man, if it doesn't have it, like, if he's like it has nothing to do with my personal thoughts. He's like, if it has anything to do with what goes against the Bible, he's like, then I'm not for it.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, I respect that.
Yeah.
I respect that.
agree. I feel like it's not so much like the right wing or the left wing, but
Yeah.
as like believers, we have to think what aligns the most with the word of God.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
And it's hard sometimes.
right, it is, and that's one thing we were talking about, how like a lot of let's say like religious people, they typically lean like more conservative or like Republican because of just their
Yeah.
ideologies kind of align with like the Bible or like religious
Right.
views. So that's one thing him and I were talking about, is like, it's easy to kind of get involved and wrapped up around like the political aspect of things and start rallying for those things,
Yeah.
as opposed to being like, okay, like, just you're separate from it.
Yeah.
Like for instance, you get like religious people who are just like they're all excited on social media about this whole abortion thing. Like, it's just, I don't know. It's not.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know how to word it, but
Yeah, it's hard. That's a hard topic because I know there's cases where abortion is necessary and everything, but you know, there's times when it's abused also.
oh
So,
yeah, absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
I don't really have an opinion on it. I try to stay out of it.
I try to stay out of the political realm as much as possible. Like, sometimes I'll interview a politician, but aside from that, like, my political views vary widely.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not Republican, I'm not Democrat, I'm not left, right.
So-
I'm kind of more just like center. Like,
Yeah.
just believe in being a good person, letting people do what they want.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want somebody to be able to tell me like, hey, you can't say this on a podcast. You can't
Right.
talk about this kind of subject. I believe in like the freedom of speech.
Yeah.
So like, I guess that would be like, I believe in that, and then I believe in the Second Amendment. Like,
Yeah.
but like, as far as like abortion, like, and gay rights, that stuff doesn't necessarily affect me.
Yeah.
And if you don't want an abortion, you don't want to have gay sex, I guess don't do it.
Right. Stay out of it.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. What's the answer to that? All that stuff.
Me neither.
I don't know. So are you still trying to become a minister?
Yeah, pretty much. I think that I don't want to be like a pastor of a church,
Okay.
but I want to be able to travel and speak and travel.
So would you be considered like non-denominational? Or?
Yeah, I would
Okay.
say non-denominational. And I don't even really know that I like the word Christian because of
It's
what
pretty-
it's such a broad word.
Yeah.
And what does it really mean to be a Christian? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, you're kind of lumped into a group of those Christians that stand outside of an abortion clinic, and
Yeah.
they're saying you're going to hell.
Yeah.
And it's almost attached to like hatred.
Yeah.
And then you're also attached to the people who just go to church at the most accepting church possible.
Yeah.
It's kind of a wide term.
Yeah, definitely.
So what would you consider yourself then?
I think I'm a follower of Christ. I try to be Christ-like in the way that I interpret it as I read about him. I have a wonderful relationship with the Holy Spirit, so like I followed that a lot. I mean, just a follower of Christ, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's a word for it.
Yeah, I don't know.
But I mean, you say like you talking about religion, and I don't think I'm religious at all. I don't try to be religious. I don't believe religion is a good thing. I think it can help people have values and whatnot, but I think the true goal is just a relationship with God. So whatever religion you are, like, what is your relationship with, the higher power?
I mean, that's
So,
the only thing that matters, right?
yeah.
In a religion.
Yeah, all this judging people and
Right.
condemning people, that's not our job.
Right.
So,
I grew up in a church, going to a church, and I was raised in a fundamental Baptist church.
oh,
And so it was like extremely strict,
Oh,
and
wow.
like they would say that they're accepting, but then you would go there or you'd bring somebody who's not from the church and they wouldn't dress properly, and then they would say something to them. It's like, that's not accepting.
yeah. I think that's why a lot of people don't like going to church. They don't know what people are going to think about them, how they're
Right.
dressed,
Right.
whatnot.
Especially when you show up and everybody's wearing a suit and tie.
Yeah, that's hard.
Or dresses.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's not. That's not an accepting environment.
Yeah, that would be kind of intimidating,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, because it sets like a standard, right?
Yeah.
Like, this is what you need to do when you go to church.
Yeah, and like if you're not already like that, you don't even know how to get there. But a lot of people like that would expect you to already be like that. So
Right.
people don't understand. We go to church because we are not perfect. We're broken. We're jacked up. So
and to be around people like-minded, right?
yeah,
To help you get to a better state.
Yep. Like congregational fellowship and whatnot.
Right.
Yeah, you can network in church too. So
Yeah, that's true.
There's a lot of good things in
Yeah.
certain churches.
Yeah.
Now, certain.
Have you found a good church?
Yeah.
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 Yeah, I have my friend, he's constantly looking for a church. Always going to a new church.
Oh, I think that it's important to explore. Even if you have a church home, I still think you should. Think you can learn a lot from different environments and different styles of preaching. So, well, for me, anyways, I like different styles. I like to mix it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, no, going to church, I remember every Sunday hearing the pastor say this. It was almost kind of like he said the same thing over and over again. It's like in the same kind of voice.
Oh, geez.
So it's like eventually you just kind of
Tune out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Been there. Yeah. I try not to fall asleep ever. No, but my pastor is amazing. I'm always attentive. She keeps my attention.
That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't agree with having a female minister.
Yeah, that's a whole nother thing. I think the Bible says a couple things about it. I don't know. I don't know if it's interpreted wrong, but I think there's also like there's also women military leaders and women prophetesses in the Bible. So
right.
Who's to say if God gives me a word and I'm a woman and he commands me to share it, I'm going to share it. So
yeah,
it has to get out.
It's kind of a weird thing, right? Like,
Yeah.
women can't be in a position of like being over like men, essentially.
Yeah. The Bible does say like men are next to God and women are next to men, but it also says there is no man or no woman because we're just all spirit beings. So we're vessels. Like if you're a preacher, your job is to be a vessel, no matter your gender, whatever. It's not even coming from you. It's
right.
Yeah.
Right. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, it is.
It's crazy. I remember just growing up in church, and one thing that like the man is always over the wife, and then like she has to submit to the husband, and then the children are under the wife, like the mom or whatever.
It is
crazy dynamics. It's crazy dynamics to me.
Yeah.
It's like for my wife and I, like I guess I kind of look at her as like an equal to me.
Yeah.
Like I don't.
That's good.
I don't tell her what to do.
Yeah.
Although I do joke with her, like, you need to submit.
Yeah. That's great. She probably tells you what to do though.
She definitely does. Yeah. She's like, and then if she doesn't, or if I don't do it, then she gets an attitude with me, and then it forces me to do it.
As she should.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah.
So did you answer my question about you pursuing being a minister?
Oh, you said, do I still want to?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I just want to be like a traveling speaker. I know whatever I do, like I want to be in front of people and I want to deal with people, talk to people. That's what I know. So
do you have to go to school for that?
You don't have to. There's a lot of people that get ordained, or like I've already spoken a lot of environments, but not like necessarily preaching.
Okay.
So I mean, it helps to have credentials, especially as a woman, because like you said, like a lot of people feel like women shouldn't be pastors. So
Right.
I thought to have the credentials would get me more places to speak. But at the same time, I've done a lot without them. So I don't know. What is school anymore?
What is school anymore? I'm under the idea that school isn't necessarily like necessary
Yeah.
for jobs, even like like it used to be where you have to go to school to get like a good office job.
Yeah.
But like all that stuff you can learn to do on your own.
Yeah.
You don't need to go to school
I
to
mean,
learn.
this generation is so tech savvy.
Yeah.
Like, but yeah.
Yeah, like you don't need to go to school.
Yeah.
And a lot of things you can just get like a what do they call it? Like
a certificate.
Certificate, yeah.
Yeah. I also have my certificate as an esthetician, so to do like facials and massage treatments and waxing. So
do you
like
do
to
that?
I don't have a location right now, but I'm working on getting a location. I have in the past.
Okay.
But yeah. So I love doing massages. I love doing facials. I love like relaxing people. I feel relaxed when I'm doing it. So
what is a facial exactly? Do they like suck the pores out?
not always,
No.
but 9 times like some way we're gonna get your pores cleaned.
Okay.
So sometimes we do chemical exfoliation, which is just putting a chemical that dissolves whatever's in your face.
Okay.
People don't know how dirty their face is. I mean, ew, like it's out in the open all day, everywhere we go.
Dirt
it's
flying
nasty. So it's important to have a skincare regimen, you know, wash your face, tone your face, and
tone your face. What does that mean?
So toner. So after you wash your face, you strip your face of things. So the toner will help balance your pH after you wash your face. So you put on toner, then you put on a protectant, which is some type of lotion, some type of moisturizer. Don't use body lotion, but a lot of people are just like, especially men, I feel like y'all don't really do all that ever.
No, we don't. I'll be the first to admit, like in the middle of winter, my like under my neck, it dries out.
Really?
So, yeah. So I'll just take lotion and slap it on there.
Slap it on there.
But I oftentimes do like a peel mask.
Oh, good.
Yeah, like a charcoal peel mask.
Yeah.
And I love those. I'll let it sit on there for like.
We didn't really do those.
No?
Not really good. Sometimes it can damage your skin.
Really?
Yeah. But that's okay though.
I let it sit on there for a long time.
Really?
Yeah, till it's like hard, and then I peel it off, and it hurts coming off, but it feels so good afterwards.
I know. Probably looks really nasty.
It does. Yeah, it feels like it does something.
Yeah, it does. It does do something, but it can be dangerous on your skin. But I'm sure you don't care.
Probably not. No, I don't think I care that much. But
yeah,
as long as it doesn't scar me, I guess.
Yeah, I do masks. I do a lot of masks. There's aloe masks. There's like a seaweed mask that peels off. It just doesn't peel your skin off like that.
How often should you do something like that?
Facials, I recommend like once a month.
Oh.
Getting a facial once a month.
Like an actual facial.
Yeah, like going through the process. We steam your pores to get them nice and open, and do all type of exfoliating. For me, I analyze the skin to make sure I'm giving you the right products, because some people have oily, some people have dry, some people have combinations. So I got to make sure I'm putting the right mask on you. Charcoal mask is for like detoxing if you're oily. Aloe masks are for if you're dry. So, there's a lot of different purposes. We got to balance you out.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
So have you thought about opening a business doing that?
Yeah. When I did have a location, it was my own. It was called Blessed by Bri, because anytime I did like a relaxing massage, I mean, they loved it. So I want to get back to it.
That's one of the things that I think a lot of people, especially men, they don't take the time to do the self-care.
Yeah.
And like I've gotten pedicures before.
Good.
And it feels so good afterwards.
Doesn't it?
Like your feet are nice and soft. And it's amazing how rough and gross your feet get.
Yeah.
Like I probably need one right now. But
me too.
don't look at my feet. I'm just kidding. I have shoes on.
Oh, good. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't realize like the abuse that you put on, especially on your feet, because you're walking all day long, or you walk barefoot.
Right. And we only get one pair of
calluses.
feet, so
That is
you gotta
true.
take care of them.
I mean, you could get a prosthetic leg.
Yeah, but you Yeah. If that's avoidable, let's avoid it.
Yeah, well, sometimes they're better.
Are they? I
Yeah.
know, right? Because these knees.
Yeah, no, yeah, but no, that's the thing. Like whenever I get like a massage, I get massages quite often,
Good.
too, and it just feels so good
Yeah.
afterwards.
Yes.
So good.
Like even mentally, I feel like it puts you in a fog.
It really does.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's important too. It like I mean because you release all that stress and all the built up
These toxins as well.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it helps with just general health.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, I've had people like tripping over their feet when they stand up because they're just so like relaxed.
It's literally probably one of the best feelings ever.
Yeah. Whew, you got me wanting a massage right now.
You should go get one.
I think I might.
Yeah. So you're thinking about opening a business doing that again?
Yeah. I mean I won't give up my cleaning business, but and I also have a position here starting in a couple months, event planning for a company. It's a nonprofit, so that'll be helping survivors of crime.
Oh wow.
So,
What's the name of the nonprofit?
it's called Crime Survivors for Safety and Justice.
Okay.
And so we actually just had a huge event at the Capitol, I think last month. We proposed new bills to get signed, anything to make the community safer. So,
Such as what?
like the last bill Governor Whitmore just signed, will help victim compensation. It'll increase victim compensation from $5,000 to $10,000 for funeral costs. If you are attacked or a victim of a crime, you'll have a year to report it. Before it was only 48 hours. So imagine like getting raped or something and then only having 48 hours to report it. You're not even going to be thinking about reporting it within the 48 hours.
So my question is though, with that, is if you wait that long, there's not evidence, right? Like for rape, let's say, for instance.
Yeah, probably. A lot of people
So like
will
what?
go to the hospital and get a rape kit and then not do anything with it.
Okay.
But yeah, you're right. There's probably not as much physical evidence, but I'm not sure exactly the details that will go into that.
Right.
But even like just domestic abuse or robbery or whatever the case may be, I think it's important to still have more time to think about what do you want to do, because some people struggle. Do they want to report it?
Right.
But
well,
I think,
I mean, it's that whole victims mentality thing too, because
Yeah.
like you kind of fall into a cycle. Like if you're married to somebody
Mm-hmm.
and they're extremely abusive, but you guys have a life that's like wrapped up, your finances are like complicated, and you
Yeah.
can't just leave the situation.
Yeah.
Like, what do? You can't just like up and leave within 48 hours and report it.
Exactly. Yeah. That
Like,
happens a lot.
It happens a lot.
Yeah.
Like I remember when we left Florida. I'm from Florida, and the reason why we left was because my brother was getting abused.
Oh, wow.
Well, my mom waited 2 weeks to report it, and so a family friend was like, if you don't report this, we're gonna report it.
Yeah.
And so she went to the police that night, reported it, and within like a couple hours, they arrested our stepdad, and they told us we needed to leave.
Oh, wow.
But like, imagine like if they couldn't arrest that person and you had to go
Yeah.
home, get your things, and get out of there. Like, how does that even happen?
That's scary.
It is scary.
Because then you don't know what that person's going to do and retaliation. Yeah.
So it allows victims more time to report.
Mm-hmm.
What other things?
It also allows, so once you report a crime, that you're a victim of a crime, there's certain benefits and resources available to you. A lot of people don't know about them. So we're going to make it so that it's more
accessible.
Yep, accessible. And also, instead of only having 1 year to apply for the benefits before, now you have 5 years to apply for the benefits. So it's huge changes. I think it's going to help a lot to help get victims the help that they need. We're trying to get more assault victim, like what do you call it?
Like domestic abuse.
Yeah, domestic abuse. Not like a rehab, but just a trauma center. Trauma centers, yes. Get more trauma centers in Michigan for people who are victims. And also it works on the other side. So we believe in restoration for the community and for the whoever committed the crime as well, because it's how you stop cycles.
Mm-hmm.
So this law also passed to get like incentivizing programs back into prisons to help people get training for jobs to stop cycles, to help people get counseling, and also to get, some time off, because we want quality time. We don't want quantity of time.
Right.
Because like we said before, it's a business.
Yeah.
Like they put all these people in prison, get all this money. They come back out. They're the same people. They're going to continue the cycles. So we want to stop the cycles.
Have you ever heard of Good Time Makes Good Sense?
Yeah.
That organization?
No, I actually haven't.
So I had a guy on. His name's Rich Griffin, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
It was a while ago, so I don't remember, but I know his last name's Griffin. Anyways, he spent like 20 some years in prison, and he works for this organization that advocates for good time. So whenever like you have good time, you get that amount of time taken off your sentence. Yep. And because the thing is, like, a lot of people, they're hard asses. They're like, they were in prison for a reason. Like, we don't need them in society. It's like, well, hey, dummy, they're going to end up out here anyways. Exactly. Like in 10 years, like they're going to be a part of our society at some point or another. Like, I mean, don't you want them to be a productive member of our society? So the way to do that would be to get them the training they need, get them skills so that when they get out of prison, they can be integrated easily.
Yeah.
I don't know. At some point, they're going to be integrated in society.
I think it's 88% of prisoners come back into society. So it's a huge number. So we want to make sure that they're up to par and know how to adapt back into the community better than they were before.
Right.
So
yeah, I know. I don't know what happened to Good Time Makes Good Sense, though. I know that they were pushing for legislation, but I haven't seen anything on a
I'll have to look it up.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Yeah, it is interesting. And it's just crazy too. The amount of like the sentencing time, like how much time people get for things.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, the guidelines, they're crazy.
Yeah.
People get more time for drugs sometimes than killing or raping somebody, which is ridiculous. Yeah. And I think it targets African Americans a lot also.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it definitely does.
Yeah.
I mean, especially because like a lot of your poor communities are generally African American.
Yeah.
So like it's easier for them to get involved in like drugs and just that kind of lifestyle.
Yeah, not getting them help, but just locking them up.
Yeah, it's an endless cycle.
Yeah.
It sucks.
Yeah.
We need more money. That's what we need.
Yeah. Well, we actually have a lot of money. That's what our organization is trying to get the funds used better, because we've had like billions of dollars just sitting in the pool not being used.
Yeah. I mean, we're seeing it now with all the money they're sending over to like Ukraine to help them in their war, and the money that they sent everybody during COVID. It's like they didn't have money to send these communities during during times before then. Yeah. And then we have this pandemic, and they're like, "Oh, here's money for everybody." Like, why can't we send that money to these poor communities?
Yeah.
To help with like different programs, community centers. Yeah. Things of those sorts.
And I think there is, funds available that the government, they don't tell us. So we have to do the research, and we have to know what's available, what we can apply for, and how we can use it. So it's just about researching and
right.
Yeah.
That sucks.
Yeah. It's hard to know what's available.
It is. Yeah. I mean, I was just talking about this with somebody who's looking they're trying to fund their nonprofit here in town, and they have to apply for all these grants and everything. So, and she was saying how like it's extremely difficult to know what's out there because they don't make it known. There's like no website you can just go to and be like, okay, this is the grant that I can apply for. This is the grant that I can apply for. Yeah. No, you have to like research it.
Yeah, go to all these different websites, different grants that have nothing to do with each other.
Right.
Yeah.
It's craziness. Is there anything else you want to talk about or promote on the podcast?
Well, not really. I mean, I think we covered a lot. So
yeah, we kind of bounced up all over the place.
All over the place. Yeah. That's me. I'm all over the place.
That's good though, because I like that. Like you're not necessarily focused on one aspect of the conversation. Yeah. Like yesterday, I interviewed a local comedian.
Oh, cool.
And I talked to him the whole time about comedy, and so like just asking him questions about comedy because like I love comedy.
Yeah.
And always loved comedy.
It's important to laugh.
It's so important. And I was telling him yesterday the first time I ever heard comedy was Dane. I don't know if it was the first time I ever heard comedy, but it was the first time I ever remember falling in love with comedy. But I was actually in our youth group, and we were going to Grand Rapids to see an arena football game. and this kid brought his iPod, and he had his headphones, and I had one headphone, he had the other headphone, and he's playing Dane Cook. And I remember hearing the joke. I still remember the joke. And after hearing that, I was like, wow, like I love this.
Yeah.
So then since then I fell in love with comedy. It's my favorite thing.
I love comedy too.
Yeah. Yeah. So if people want to request your services for cleaning, where can they go?
They can go to caretocleanservices.com or facebook.com/caretocleanservices, or just look me up, Brianna Fox, Brianna Fox. I love my name.
It's kind of easy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's easy.
So, just look me up. You can shoot me a message or go through my website, and I can come give you a free estimate. So
cool. Yeah. Awesome. All right. Anything else?
I don't think so. Shout out to my kids. I love them. Beautiful. And thank you, David, for having me on here.
Absolutely. You're welcome. You're welcome back anytime.
Thank you.
Yep. Thank you.